what we see is in relationships which don't work out, especially after the legalization of the relationship happens once you marry. Okay, that why things start happening. Because when two people come together, they're looking for something which they don't have. And when they find that in another person, it feels, wow, this person completes me. This was what I was waiting for all my life. I didn't get it from my family. I didn't get it from my friends. I didn't get it from my previous relationships. This is the person. And then world suddenly starts looking more prettier and beautiful after that. And then there is this honeymoon phase. And then finally, once you settle down, let's take one example of a relation. Let's say one person is nurturing the other person. Let's say the woman is nurturing the man, and the man who always lacked mother's love and felt that mother was loving the other child more. Or maybe mother died early. Or maybe mother was too involved in her own story and she just could not nurture the child. And when that nurturing comes from this woman, it feels like a win-win relationship for both of them. Both of them are very happy because as much as for the woman as well as for the man, the woman also wants to nurture because she never got an opportunity to nurture. So she gets a guy who wants nurturing, she wants to nurture. So it's a win-win relationship. Now, when let's say both the cups are full, I got the nurturing that I always wanted. And now this lady feels, oh, I'm nurtured like to my heart's content. Now I'm satiated. When both of them are satiated, now there is no need for nurturer. There's no need to be nurtured. So suddenly I'm not attracted to you anymore because you are of no more use to me.
Yo, guys, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Happily Whatever After Tips and Tales for Relationships. तो ये सीजन 2 है। जैसा कि आप लोगों को पता है कि हम लोग अपने सीजन 2 में बहुत सारे लोगों को बुला रहे हैं, बात कर रहे हैं रिलेशनशिप उनकी कैसे थी, हमारी कैसे थी। आपने थोड़े बहुत एपिसोड्स भी देखे होंगे लास्ट सीजन में, जहाँ पे हमने बहुत सारे लोगों को बुलाया था।
हाँ, काफी थेरेपिस्ट को बुलाया था जिन्होंने हमें बताया था कि हम क्या सही और गलत कर रहे हैं। बट आज हमारे साथ हैं एक बहुत ही स्पेशल
गेस्ट। आई थिंक आई कैन कॉल हिम अ मैजिशियन बिकॉज उन्होंने हमारी लाइफ सुधारी है कहीं ना कहीं,
और विद मैजिक सुधारी है। उनको बहुत टाइप के मैजिक्स आते हैं। बेसिकली जोक्स अपार्ट, ही इज डॉक्टर योगेश वासंदी। ही इज he has multiple healing powers, we would call it, but he doesn't agree to all of those things. He calls himself a humble man. But we have done family constellations with him. He is also a past life regression therapist. He is also a world renowned homeopathy doctor. And if you guys want to contact him, वो हम लोग डिस्क्रिप्शन में डाल ही देंगे, लेकिन उससे पहले हम बात तो कर लेते हैं उनसे। वेलकम डॉक्टर योगेश।
वेलकम डॉक्टर योगेश, प्लीज।
Hi, it's an honor to be speaking to both of you. And you all are so bright, Just look at your background, look at my background. You can see the difference. Nice, bright people. It gives some brightness to me as well.
You've brought so much light to us. So the only thing we can do is be bright for you.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Thank you so much.
So basically, guys, we have you've known that Karan has had a lot of issues with his mental health. I have also struggled because of that. Our relationship has struggled because of it. And Dr. Yogesh came into our lives at a point where we both wanted some solutions, but we did not know कि हमको वो मिलेंगे कहाँ से.
Yes.
So Dr. Yogesh got us this new modality that we didn't know about, which is called family constellation. So Dr. Yogesh, I'm not the right person to say what is family constellation. So why don't you tell us that what is it and how it works?
Okay, so family constellation is a khichdi, if I may use an Indian word. It's a mixture of many good things from shamanism, from psychology, and from so many people's works over hundreds of years. So if I were to define it, technical definition, I would say family constellation is a combination of Moreno's psychodrama minus the drama and Virginia Satir, who did a lot of family work, family-oriented work, family systems work. So it is sculpting of Virginia Satir, and then you put it on the pedestal or a base of shamanism, and then you try to create an experience out of it. and it is a silent experience. And still, without the vocals and the kinetics, something moves without the facilitator who's conducting it, trying to involve themselves inside it.
Okay.
I'm sure you have understood nothing about it. That's the whole idea. It's a no-minder.
Okay.
So
Okay.
family constellation basically is a part of systemic constellation, a small part, and it's more popular. Of course, in the system, for example, today we three are sitting here, we are one system.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
The building that you are staying in, the apartment, and on the floor, if there are three other families staying, that floor is another system. And the multiple apartment blocks in the same building are another system. And that building in the city of Pune is one system. Pune in Maharashtra is another system. Maharashtra in India is another system, and so on and so forth. It goes on and on. And the word constellation itself comes from the collection and groups of stars.
Okay.
So, family is a small system, a representative of a larger system, just like a human body. Whole body is one system, but in that there is nervous system, there is gastrointestinal system, and in the gastrointestinal system, then there is a smaller system, then a smaller system. Finally, we reach a cell. Same way, one human, and then many humans together form a system, and then many families will form a system, then a country will form a system, a religion will form a system, a cult will form a system, a sect will form a system, groups will form a system. So like that, there are systems and systems and systems and systems. But the most popular one that we focus on nowadays is family constellation. So we'll, I think, speak about that.
Yeah.
And this therapy was started by a Christian priest, a missionary priest called as Bert Hellinger, who was also a psychotherapist. And actually, the popularity of system came after 62 years of his age,
Oh.
when he came back from his missionary work. So basically, it's a beautiful work where you remove the analysis of the mind out of it, so that we can explore those areas which can take the hidden intents, the hidden causes, the hidden motivations, the hidden drives that are guiding us, and we feel helplessly controlled by the system.
Hmm. Hmm. So, Dr. Yogesh, I think you have summarized in a well to make it easier, as you know, that our podcast is related. We've spoken about systems, we have spoken about marriage, we've spoken about how it works, we have also spoken about a body. There is something that happens in our lives when we get married. There is a system, I believe I will call it, what we have described is being made when we get married, right? So, how does family constellation differ from other therapies when it comes to addressing the marital issues? So if you can guide us in that part.
Okay. So see, again, nowadays, the therapy world is is like a menu in a big multi-cuisine restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
So I think now very soon we will have counselors who will guide you which therapy you should go for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we are those counselors, because when people come to us, we are ready to tell them that okay, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Correct. So there's so much good happening. We are very lucky to be alive in this time. Okay, we
Yeah.
have so many choices.
Yeah.
In that time, when we had just Ambassador and Fiat cars, and
Yeah.
you had to
Yeah.
choose one car, it
Yeah.
was very easy, right?
Yeah.
Now, so many cars, so now you need a consultant to tell you, so many foods to eat. So we need a dietitian to tell you, a nutritionist to tell you what you need to eat. We never needed to go to someone to ask those things.
Yeah.
But again, that is not a disadvantage. I feel that is a great advantage because we have so much choice.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, out of this, for marriage related issues, apart from marital counseling, apart from individual counseling, apart from so many other types of works which work for relationship management, one can also explore family constellation. It's one of the modalities which is available. Again, see, these are not to replace any medical
Yeah.
therapies that you are going through.
Okay.
These are complementary. And
Okay.
Hmm.
especially they come very handy when one feels that you're not getting so much benefit as you would have really wanted from something.
Hmm.
So why not try something else? So it's complementary. It's not an alternative.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
tie is a complement to my shirt. But if I wear a tie, it doesn't mean that I don't have to wear a shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's complementary. It's
Yeah.
Correct.
complementary. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So and I found in my 31 years of practice, I'm a homeopath, I practice homeopathy. So we deal with mind and body, psychosomatic associations. So naturally, my interest towards these kind of sciences, we deal with the mind, behavior, etc., was very high. And then I, explored past life regression, hypnotherapy, because in spite of right medicine, why are people not getting all right?
Yeah.
And when we are so sure the medicine is right, when we are so sure the diagnosis is right, when another doctor confirms and reconfirms in a group setting, then what is it that is, you know, eluding us?
Yeah.
So those are those hidden parts of us, because human being is vast. So there's subconscious mind, and what is there in the subconscious mind which is eluding? Because certain parts of the subconscious we are still able to understand and explore, but there are certain parts we are not.
So I'll just like while Dr. Yogesh was talking, I thought that I'll tell our listeners and viewers about what happened in uh, Karan and my first family constellation.
Yeah.
That so basically, just to give you a gist, there is, for example, एक किसी का लिविंग रूम आप ले लो. वो लिविंग रूम होता है जिसे हम मैट्रिक्स या फील्ड कहते हैं. और सारे लोग जो फैमिली कॉन्स्टलेशन में पार्टिसिपेट करने आए, से 10, 12, 15 पीपल, वो एक दायरे में बैठे होते हैं, एक गोले में या स्क्वायर में बैठे होते हैं, एंड दे आर द पार्टिसिपेंट्स ऑफ द फैमिली कॉन्स्टलेशन. सो व्हेन say for example Karan wants to floor a case, what will happen is Karan with Dr. Yogesh will decide to choose certain people to represent certain areas of his life or certain people in his life. So, for example, Karan will choose A for representing himself. Then he will choose B for representing me. Then he will choose C to represent his job or career or love life or intimacy or mother or father. And the most beautiful part and the most spooky part is that ये जो लोग रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स होते हैं, जैसे डॉक्टर योगेश ने बताया, ये वर्ड बाय वर्ड जो आपके मन में होता है वो बोलने लगते हैं, बिना आपको जाने, बिना केस का डिटेल जाने, कुछ भी बिना सोचे समझे. यू कैन नॉट एक्सप्लेन इट, देयर इज नो लॉजिकल एक्सप्लेनेशन टू इट. एंड आई वाज अमेज्ड बिकॉज आई वाज द मोस्ट लॉजिकल पर्सन. आई यूज टू फील कि मैं तो ये सारी चीजें तो मानूंगी ही नहीं, क्या होता है ये. बट व्हेन आई एक्चुअली एक्सपीरियंस्ड इट माई सेल्फ, और करण और मेरे फैमिली कॉन्स्टलेशन में सेम हुआ, जैसे हम लोगों ने आपको हमारे सीजन 1 के एपिसोड्स में बताया कि मुझे बहुत ज़्यादा रिजेंटमेंट होता था करण को लेके, दैट ही मेरी लाइफ बिगड़ गई. Once I got married to Karan, I had
Yeah.
to get into a lot of financial issues. I was emotionally unhappy. I was constantly just struggling with life, even more than I was struggling before.
Yeah.
And the beauty of it was that the person who was representing me started saying the exact same things without knowing me. She was there for the first time. She had seen me for the first time. And she was, I think, Dr. Yogesh, first time attending family constellation, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
And she had no idea, but she became my representative and said exactly what I had in my mind. And somehow it helped Karan and me to discuss those hidden feelings थ्रू द फैमिली कॉन्स्टलेशन. मतलब
Yeah.
जो हम एक दूसरे को आमने सामने इतनी बातें करने के बाद भी आमने सामने नहीं बोल पाते थे,
Yeah.
वो हमने समहाउ फैमिली कॉन्स्टलेशन के थ्रू एड्रेस कर दिया.
Yeah.
एंड इट हैड ह्यूज shifts in our relationship. It created major energy changes in both of us.
And also to add what Dr. Yogesh and Shogi has told, it was related to the family dynamics, I believe, Dr. Yogesh. It is also coming from the deep-seated way we have been born and brought up. And as we also discussed, the system that we have been created from generations, that was also hindering our relationship. And those were the, dynamics that come into the play. And family constellation actually helps you to release those issues or traumas which you have been carrying since generations. Am I right, Dr. Yogesh? Can I,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, so Karan very rightly said, and Shoki, thank you for describing it in a nutshell, the whole process. Very nice. Because see, this is experiential. It's very difficult to put
Yeah,
it
yeah,
in.
Yeah.
One needs
obviously.
to experience. But yes, for a person to even come for the experience, they need to know what it is. So thank you for doing this good awareness job. And as Karan said, release. So, two words which we don't use in family constellation is healing. Okay.
Yeah.
The other word is cure. We don't use.
Mhm.
So, in fact, when we were being trained for family constellation, my teachers were very tough. One was a Dutchman, the other was a Frenchman, yeah, and one was a direct student of Bert Hellinger. And they said there is a field, no, beyond the right and wrong, there is a field. I will meet you there. It was Jalaluddin Rumi's saying. So, family constellation works beyond the right and wrong. It works beyond the mind zone. It works in the pre-thought zone, even before the thought comes. Okay. So there is no question of cure. There is no question of healing. We don't use the word healing there. But as the reality becomes known, the real reality, okay, Karan and Shoki are sitting here. That's what I see. But the reality could be that behind Karan, there is his father who speaks through Karan. Maybe Karan is living his father's life. And the moment that reality is recognized, it is stated, okay, I am actually living my father's life. That may automatically cause an emotional release. Healing may be a byproduct, but it is not the goal of family constellation. Emotional release may be a byproduct, but that is not the goal of the family constellation. And so many times, we have a constellation which is not like it's not like a movie ending of Yash Chopra, where the two lovers come together. Sometimes it can be something hanging in the air, but yet it brings a lot of peace of mind and clarity, and it helps people make some choices where they are confused. It helps you see beyond the blind spot. It helps you see the whole issue with a different perspective from an outside observer standpoint. So let's say two people in a relationship are not able to communicate because they're just fighting every time they start to communicate, or sulking or fighting. So either they are over communicating or under communicating, but there is no conversation that is happening. Then when we choose a representative, one, let's say for Karan, one for Shoki, okay, and these representatives know nothing about them, and we just place them in the field. God knows what happens. We can't explain. But it's like we just tell them, speak whatever comes to your mind. Try not to think. What pops up, I use the word. So whatever pops up, and as it happens very soon, within 10 to 15 minutes, very much the dysfunction of the two people will come onto the field. Sometimes even the gestures and the language is seen there. So if, like, my mother had almost blindness because of diabetic retinopathy. So the representative for her said, I'm not able to see clearly. Wow. So there are medical constellations, there are corporate constellations. Let's say the marketing department is not seeing eye to eye with the accounts department. And the owner said, we don't know how to stop this fight. And it just continues, not only during my time, but during my father's time and my grandfather's time. This is a family-owned business. And these two departments, though we have changed so many people, it just doesn't gel. And we always have issues with them. Now, how logic cannot explain this?
Yeah.
Why does the third daughter of the certain family always get divorced and comes back? How does logic explain that? Astrology is not able to explain that sometimes. Then what do you do? So in such cases, it's a good idea to see another perspective. Again, it is not to get reason for everything. Sometimes you don't even get any reason. But something happens. Some movement happens. 29 years, two people are not talking to each other. We put a family constellation case and something happens. Maybe, can I tell you a case if you don't mind?
Please,
Yeah,
please go ahead. Yeah, yeah.
Because I believe more than theory, it's the cases which actually, give you the essence of the work.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this lady who comes and says that, I'm married 29 years and my husband is just never sat with us on a breakfast table with the three kids. Though he loves us very much, but my children have zero communication with him. Zero. And I also sometimes feel I don't know why. And they're very well-known people, businessmen, and he speaks outside with everybody. But somehow we have never ever sat together for a meal. 29 years. So daughter is grown up. The boy is grown up. There's another small, tiny one, 3 children. So we just floor a case. And in this, funnily, what happened was it seemed that the lady had given the place of the husband to her brother in her heart. So we brought in the brother's representative, and only thing says, you are my brother, you're not my husband. And you know what? I now give my husband the rightful place. So something like that. Okay. There are certain technical things which I don't think we need to talk about here. But the rightful place of the husband in the heart of the wife was given, and the brother who was in the wrong place in the heart was given the rightful brother's place in the heart. Next morning, of course, we don't get such dramatic results always. Next morning, this girl is frantically calling me, and lady, in fact, and she's telling me, Yogesh, I want to tell you something. Some magic has happened. I said, what happened? My husband sat on the breakfast table with all of us. It's like, of course, please don't get carried away by this, because the first thing is we don't do family constellation for results. We do it to explore possibilities and try to understand where is the energetic blockage. And somehow for her, good luck for her, good luck for me, it worked so quickly.
So I was actually going to come to this next, that how Karan and me, when we did our family constellation, you found out that because Karan has a history of bad marriages in his family, like his parents are also divorced, and his grandparents did not have that great of a marital relationship, and in general his family has a lot of divorces, like either one of the kids in the family have a broken marriage, separation, or some kind of divorce. So we wanted to, enlighten people who are listening to us, that how sometimes we are carrying forward these unresolved family issues, which become your marital patterns. So can you throw some light on that, using, like, how do we find out through family constellation?
Okay. So I just want to tell you, in last so many years that I'm doing family constellation, what I've read and what Bert Hellinger, the person who's put it all together for us in so beautifully, has said, everything in family constellation, everything in constellation is based on love and loyalty. That's the undercurrent of everything. Now, what do I mean by this? There are hidden loyalties. Let me give you one example to make it clear. Again, there's no way to prove it except by clinical experience where we see results. Okay. So let's say Karan's case, we take, there are a lot of bad marriages, okay, happening. And when we put a constellation, I'm just giving you a fictitious example. I'm not
Yeah,
quoting Karan's case because of, confidentiality. I don't
yeah,
want to reveal it here. You all can do if you all wish. I won't, right?
yeah.
So let's say somebody has bad marriages going. And we put the case, and then we find out there that maybe way before, long before, many generations ago, let's say 15 generations, though we don't get a number, but 15 generations ago, there was somebody who had a bad marriage. And that somebody really suffered. Okay. Now understand, Bert Hellinger says that there are certain hidden systems which are working in a family in the background, and they are actually controlling the behaviors which are beyond our cognition. Logically, to the conscious mind, these intentions are not available. Not available. They will just work behind you, remote controlling you. So let's say a child, let's say Karan is born, and let's say 15, 20 years ago, again, it's a fictitious one, I'm not quoting Karan's case.
Yeah.
Oh, just to keep Karan awake, I'm taking his name. Oh. Teaching in medical college for so many years, you become like a teacher and you have to again and again. No?
Jago.
Jago.
Okay. So the whole idea was that this child says, you know what, uncle, you had a bad marriage, no? I'm very loyal to you and I love you, man. I'll suffer with you to reduce your burden. I will also not have a good marriage. And this child, though looks for a great relationship all the time, doing all the research for good relationship, maybe he is a relationship therapist himself. for all you know, because we teach others what we need to learn, no?
Yeah.
I taught stress management because I needed to work for myself on stress the most. Okay, so it's like that. So this person suffers on behalf of that uncle, and no matter how much he tries, all relationships end up failing because that hidden loyalty and love towards that uncle is supreme and it is ruling that person. And that needs to be addressed. And the moment that energy is released, we see relationships flourishing. Either they will come with this person together or they may go apart. See, again, beyond the right and wrong, we are not judging anybody here.
Yeah.
Neither are we counseling and telling you do this or do that. We just say, this is what the field is saying. See what options you have and what is good for you. Maybe if you need, why don't you see a marriage counselor now with this renewed idea that a beautiful integration can occur of various therapies.
So, as we said that, hidden loyalties and, we take them from our ancestors would be the right thing, or from the generations that we're talking about.
It could be even, let's say, from father or mother.
Okay.
It could be even from, let's say, father had business failure. He was never able to make money. He had repeated losses in spite of being super intelligent. I recollect a beautiful case, one person said it so nicely. He said, Doc, I have reverse of Midas touch. If I touch gold, it becomes dust. And if I give idea to others, they make millions. Same idea, if I apply, I will not be able to make money. And it was a hidden loyalty towards father. Okay, how can a son be more successful than the father? It's a disrespect. So the son sabotages his success unknowingly, though he's trying very hard. He's taking all the help. Father is saying, I want you to prosper. But it is a hidden dynamic which needs to be addressed at the subconscious level. Same as, let's say, a couple who's trying to have a child and they try, all tests are normal. Still, they're not able to conceive. How do you explain this? This could be a hidden loyalty issue. So relationships could be a hidden loyalty. It could be a curse by whoever, in the backdrop.
Okay.
And the only way to actually see whether this would be true or no is to actually put it to a test. So that's why family constellation, as Shoki so nicely said, the facilitator will put the representatives, test certain ideas. Some ideas work, some ideas don't work. And we are constantly talking to the person who has put the case there and see what works there, whether harmonization occurs. Because the whole intention of the constellation or system is to maintain harmony. And in that harmony, if one object has to be sacrificed, it will be sacrificed, because family constellation is unemotional. The system is unemotional. The system's prime objective is to maintain a harmony. And in that harmony, if one person has to be sacrificed, it will be sacrificed. And that's why in constellation work, we don't call it human, we call it an object. From a system standpoint, you're just an object. Part of the various objects in the larger system. You can imagine the entire universe. If this is one system, where are we? And forget we. Where is our mind in us? And then where is that one emotion which is bothering us?
Correct.
You're saying lack of confidence, but think of it from the universal standpoint, how insignificant it is.
Yeah.
Though it is very significant for us.
Yeah.
I hope this gives
Yeah.
some.
No, so I think we have reached to one of the points. I think Dr. Yogesh, you have rightly touched about, hidden loyalties, about, the son not being successful because of, getting something from the father, and the female is not getting pregnant, or they're not, as a couple, they're not getting pregnant because of the other issues that has been entangled in the generations. You have been through so many constellations and you have worked across for last 30 years, right? That's what you told, right? And what are those common patterns or entanglements that you see in couples, which are basically rooted from the family dynamics? If you can throw some light on that.
Okay. So when a person is not having what they desire, let's say a successful relationship, or, usually three problems are relationship, wealth, and health. Most
Yeah.
of the problems will be around here and some other things, but these are the major areas, major entanglements. So when a person doesn't have what he wants in these three areas, we call it they are entangled with some systemic problem behind. And the idea is to actually do a reverse plumbing. It's like a plumber, no, trying to find a leakage. Okay, it's not here. Okay, let me go behind, let me go behind, let me go in. So we are doing a reverse plumbing procedure to find this entanglement. And in this, what we have found in couples, the commonest entanglement is the loyalty to their parents or loyalty to some ancestor. That's what it is. It's very specific. I cannot generalize it.
Okay. Okay.
Like, for example, I give you the example of that couple where the person was not sitting on the same table and communicating with the children and eating in 29 years. Now, there, the entanglement of the lady was with the brother.
Correct. Correct.
So it could be in some other case. Let's say, let me give you an example. So there's this couple who comes and they say that they have an issue with each other. Somehow they can't stand each other. And they were, till the time they got married, it was super. It was a courting period, was fantastic for 7 years or 8 years. I'm not sure exactly what it is. But after that, the day they got married, it got legalized. The problem started from the first day. So much so, within 6 months, they were contemplating divorce. And it was quite shocking because they could not live without each other earlier. How did this happen? Because that legalization of marriage brings the woman into the system.
Right.
And then there is the orders of love, the hidden things which are working. So if somebody wishes to go more deeply into it, just Google orders of love. So there are certain orders and systems which are working in a family system. And the moment a person goes against those orders, entanglements come. Entanglements come in, that brings in problem, Karan, what you were talking, whether it is relationship, whether it is wealth, whether it is health, it will start coming. So in this case, the entanglement, what we found out was, what the system said was that the girl was, I'm not sure exactly, but the girl or the boy was entangled with one of the extramarital affair of one of the great-grandfather or grandmother.
Okay.
And because in those times it was looked down upon, that person was not included in the family system. What the person did was, the person brought this person, it was a homosexual relationship. Okay. So it was looked down upon during that time. And imagine these people were well known in the Gujarati community, they were at a top post. And what he did was, during that time, many years ago, they had this house with multiple floors. That typical Gujarati hierarchy system is there. Parents, then one brother and his family, second brother and his family, the joint family business, very typical. So he brought in this person, introduced him as a business partner, and gave him a flat in that same building.
Yeah.
And it was surprising because the lady who floored the case says this is a closely guarded secret and nobody knows it. How did the field reveal this? I just asked her, is there a homosexual association in the family? She said, how do you know? Because she didn't even tell me. It's a closely guarded secret. Secrets are meant for certain reason in family, to make it, more harmonized and not to break. The system should not break if the secret becomes open. So I said, you just tell me yes or no because it is shown in the field. And then she said, this is what happened. My great-grandfather brought in this person. He lives there. And, he could not be included socially because it's a taboo. People would judge. So this lady has entanglement with that person, that you could not have a great relationship with my father and be included in the family. That's why she has an issue after marriage, because she feels excluded and not included in the family by the family. And that's why she's fighting with her husband for that. Till they were courting, she was not in the system. The moment it gets legalized, she enters, and then she immediately gets entangled with that member. And it's like, okay, I love you, I'm loyal to you, you did not get included, I will also go through the same suffering you went through to make it easy for you. Better me than you.
Interesting. So Dr. Yogesh, one question that comes into my mind, you have very nicely explained that, we have a lot of, issues in our marriage, which basically traces back to unresolved matters with our parents or grandparents. So how often do you see this? This is largely across all the couples, or, how does this happen in your general life? Because you have experienced so many couples, or you might have
And
happily.
I'll also like tell you why we had this question, because we have shared our story on season 1 of our podcast, and we were surprised by the sheer volume of people who come and tell us that, oh my god, this is exactly what happened to us.
Yeah.
And what basically happened is what we now know, because we have been in touch with you and done so many of family constellations and stuff, that basically Karan was the parent in the relationship. So being a single mother, she had put him in the father's place, and same happened with me, that I was my father's uh, replication for my mother, because my mother passed away. So my dad started treating me like my mother. So somehow we became entangled with our own parents. And obviously I am able to say all of these words and jargons of family constellation, बट व्हाट मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल केम टू अस एंड सेड कि शादी के पहले सब कुछ सही था, जैसे ही शादी हुई उसके बाद आई एम नॉट इंक्लूडेड इन द फैमिली, द हस्बैंड, आई एंड माय मदर इन लॉ हैव अ competition going on.
Yeah.
And which is also in psychotherapy very commonly addressed, because the toxic in-laws syndrome is usually that only, that you don't accept the new person in the family. And it can be from both ways, from the girl side also and the boys side also. So we wanted to understand that, uh, are these issues also somehow just related to these family constellation patterns or ancestral issues?
Or you can say unresolved patterns. Let me put it like, coming from the unresolved patterns and issues.
Basically, Dr. Yogesh, I want you to talk about the parentification of a spouse, that how we are entangled with our parents and hence our marriage does not work.
Yeah.
So what we see is in relationships which don't work out,
Hmm.
okay, especially after the legalization of the relationship happens once you marry, okay, the why things start happening, because when two people come together, they're looking for something which they don't have,
Hmm.
okay, and when they find that in another person, it feels, wow, this person completes me. This was what I was waiting for all my life. I didn't get it from my family. I didn't get it from my friends. I didn't get it from my previous relationships. This is the person. And then world suddenly starts looking more prettier and beautiful after that. And then there is this honeymoon phase. And then finally, once you settle down, in let's take one example of a relation. Let's say one person is nurturing the other person. Let's say let's say the woman is nurturing the man, and the man who always lacked mother's love and felt that mother was loving the other child more, or maybe mother died early, or maybe mother was too involved in her own story and she just could not nurture the child. And when that nurturing comes from this woman, it feels like a win-win relationship for both of them. Both of them are very happy because it's as much as for the woman as well as for the man. The woman also wants to nurture because she never got an opportunity to nurture. So she gets a guy who wants nurturing, she wants to nurture, so it's a win-win relationship. Now, when let's say both the cups are full, I got the nurturing that I always wanted. And now this lady feels, oh, I'm nurtured like to my heart's content. Now I'm satiated. When both of them are satiated, now there is no need for nurturer. There's no need to be nurtured. So suddenly I'm not attracted to you anymore because you are of no more use to me. Sorry, I'm being very direct.
No,
Yeah.
no, it's perfectly fine. Yeah.
Let's take another very typical example. I had a case recently, few weeks back. A guy who's into financial services, IS officer, and he comes and with his wife, okay, and he comes where the wife feels, I have just drifted apart from him. Ever since I have met our old college friend, the typical old flame syndrome. Okay. And suddenly I feel this is what I wanted. Even bodily, I was not able to consummate the marriage well with my husband over so many years. And he's so nice, my husband. I just love him. He's so caring. He's so nice. Saying, I'll wait, darling, no problem. Take your time. It's 8 years. We have not been able to consummate well. And so much so that I get dyspareunia, vaginal spasm, the moment he comes close to me. So much so, she developed a vaginal abscess, which had to be operated. And then again, 6 to 8 months of no intimacy. So something or the other comes in the way. And with this man she met, and suddenly something happened. There was some chemistry. And she says, my body is dancing. And I could have amazing intimacy with this man. I was so nice, no, not dry at all. And with this man, I'm dry all the time. And it's painful. Now see, the husband and wife have both come to the case. Okay. Husband says, I want to solve this. Both are already seeing a divorce counselor. She's saying, I need to leave you, but I'm not sure what to do, whether I want to or no. So, you get that time once you apply for divorce.
Yeah, 6
6
months.
months, yeah.
6
Yeah,
months.
something. So they are in this 6 months period. She's gone back to her mother's house. She's staying at the mother's house to decide what to do. She has told her husband about all this. Husband also knows this guy. Okay. And that guy is ready to divorce his wife to come back to her.
Okay.
Now see, the girl is saying whether I should do it or not, because my heart says go for him. Because I feel awesome with him. But I don't want to be a housebreaker. One.
Yeah.
Secondly, my husband, who is an IAS officer, there's awesome security here, and he's such a guy. He's my childhood bum chum. He's always been there for me. And then the history opens up. Father is an alcoholic, brother is an alcoholic, father was physically beating her. So it was terrible childhood time for this girl. And who was the savior? Always this IAS officer who was the neighbor, always there to take care of her. And they fell in love. Okay. And he's been always being the rescuer and the therapist for her in this role. Now, the moment she finds this old lover who actually said he's not interested, he was only interested physically during the college time, and he went and married off. Also, he was from another community which was maybe a low caste in Maharashtra. They said that these are low caste, okay, so you can't marry. So there were two things which said, okay, fine. Then she said, oh, this guy is there, why am I not going for him? She went for this fellow. And now the thing is, he's saying, I still want the relationship to work. The IAS officer is saying, I want it to work because I really love her. And she says, I really like him, but I can't say I love him. Because her need for a therapist is over. Her need for rescuer is over because she finally found somebody. And this fellow says, I thought it was physical, but it was not physical because I don't feel the same with my wife. I'm ready to go for the divorce. And he's already applied for the divorce, and to prove that, I'm genuinely interested. He's done all the paperwork. Soon it is going to be over. So this babe is now battling between the heart and the security and practical reality. So it's the battle between the heart and the brain. So for this, we had put the case. So again, and you know what? One Sunday they have come to floor the case, and she stays far away from Mumbai in Thane, for instance. And the officer stays close by, not very far away. So it's easier to travel. In Mumbai, traveling is a big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So funny part is they both came here. And after that, she said, you know what? Can I stay with you? She stayed back. And next week they came again on Sunday. She says, I've never gone back home. 1 week I'm here only. Still, I said, okay, tell me, has there been intimacy? No, I feel guilty when he touches me. My husband, when he touches me, I feel guilty. So I'm still not sure, but I'm able to stay with him. At least that much peace has come.
Mm.
So I'm actually waiting. She now wants to floor a case where she puts the boyfriend and the husband and herself in the field and see where the field is taking. But I said, do you have the courage to accept what comes there? And do you want to put a case when your husband is around?
Yeah.
See, it's a complex situation.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. It's a very complex.
Here you go to a spiritualist, they'll tell you, please follow your heart.
Yeah.
You go to a counselor, it says, look at the security. Love doesn't feed you all your life. Hai na?
Yeah.
So you also have to weigh the practical reality.
Yeah.
Now, what does this girl do? You see her face. She's like shriveled, murjaya hua fool, if I may use the Hindi word. Such a pretty girl, but there's no life. She's dead. Eyes are dead. Dark circles. Thinking. What she must be going through, the poor girl. What the husband must be going through. What the boyfriend must be going through. Nobody is right or wrong. There are hidden dynamics at play. So again, coming back to your question, in this situation, he's the rescuer, always present. He's a therapist who's present for her. But the moment she gets healed, now she doesn't need the therapist.
Yeah.
So like that, there are roles where a person can be a parent in a relationship, a person can be a child, a person can be a friend, a person can be a therapist, a person can be a victim, a person can be a victimizer. And these all, as Karan rightly said, are coming for our unresolved past.
Yeah.
These are the entanglements. And these will not last long. Once the need is over, so it's I don't know whether I should be saying this on such a platform. When somebody says baby, I tell them, please don't call your beloved a baby. You don't know what you're doing.
It's a funny.
Yeah, I was also very surprised the first time you told us this in
Yeah.
one of the sessions. And after which Karan and I was like, nahi, मैं baby नहीं हूँ.
No, see, if you're clear why you're saying that's cool, you
Yeah.
know, "Oh, baby, come, no, and when you're doing all that, okay, you got to be little careful. You got to be,
Yeah.
you got to be very clear in your mind, you know, when you're
Yeah.
using.
Yeah.
Because I've also learned a little bit of neuro-linguistic programming, and you know, the language also plays a very important role in our life. You know, how you address people.
Yeah.
So let's say somebody says, "I'm just like your brother."
Hmm.
I tell them, "But you are not my brother."
Hmm.
You know. So let's say a wife and a husband are there, and the husband says, "Don't be like my mother,"
Hmm.
or the girl says, don't be like my papa."
Yeah.
So it's important to catch this sometimes. And in a fun manner, just say, you know what? So I tell people to just remind the couple to tell each other, you are my husband, I'm your wife.
Yeah.
It's a very it's a very funny thing to do, but it sets the energy in a different vibration.
Correct.
I think it's one of those small tips that you had given us that we've been following since forever. That every morning when we do our meditation, we are done with it. At the end, we'll say, "You're my wife, I'm your husband."
Yeah.
So just to realign our
Till the time
energy.
everything is aligned in it.
Yeah, till like you're very clear. Sometimes don't you have a small child and you say, this is like a grandfather only.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Dadi Amma, she takes very good care of me. Now you make her Dadi Amma.
Yeah. The
So that
universe is
child,
listening.
not only that, but the child takes up the role of an adult, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or let's say a parent, I had a case where the parent said to the daughter, we are totally dependent on you. You are like the son of the house, yeah. Now this girl totally becomes like the man of the house, taking care of everything. She's a banking officer and she says, my marriage flopped. It didn't work. I had to come back because see, son cannot go out, no? So the daughter has a divorce and comes back to take care of the parents.
Correct.
She's come back with her son. And now
Yeah.
she's having issues with son and we were working on the issues of the son. And then in reverse, it came to her own thing where she's become the son of the family.
Hmm.
And after family constellation, I don't know how many people can do this. What courage this lady has. Within 6 months, she calls me and says, "You know what? I've taken some decision." I said, "What did you do?" I never told her this, huh? She actually sold one big flat. She took two small flats
Hmm.
on the same floor in a building, and she put the parents in one flat and she and her son staying in another one.
Hmm.
And she says, after that, our relationship has improved and we are so much at peace.
Hmm.
And she reminded herself, I'm the daughter. So I even tell, husband and wife, even if the wife is earning, I tell them, please receive some money from your husband. So you're a
Yeah.
wife, you're a receiver, you should take. Doesn't matter small amount, just take.
Hmm.
It's nice to do that. Don't stop your receiving.
Hmm.
So this was my other question, but before that I had a curiosity that most of the cases that we are talking about right now, also what we saw between me and Karan as well, would you say that most of our relationship patterns are already formed when we are kids because of what we see around us?
Or what you told right now, that we call kids, that ye to, like, in Indian families, largely what happens is, jaise hi koi, God forbidden, someone expires, and the next thing is that someone is taking birth in the family. You try to put in that ki isne to iska hi avatar le liya hai, and then you try to see that person as the person who has long crossed the life. So how does this dynamics work?
Yeah. Yeah, very common in India. I've heard, oh, Dadaji wapas aa gaye.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right after 1 month, this child was born and she sleeps exactly like Dadaji.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
One foot on the other and exactly gestures, mannerisms, looks like that, whatever, you know. And see, our behavior is our innate behavior.
Hmm.
Okay? We are talking about genetic patterns.
Hmm.
There's also part of learned behavior, which is by the surroundings and the environment.
Hmm.
So, I'll give you an example which comes from epigenetics. Okay, it's a great science to Google. Russians did a lot of research in this. So there's this a disease which is very rare. Okay, and the Russians were doing some research on that. So they did some 100-year research or something like that, or 50 years, some long years of research. So what they did was
Hmm.
two children born in the family
Hmm.
with that genetic illness, which will 100% come to the child, so-called medical truth. Okay. So they took that such kind of twins who were born in the family and they separated the twins without the mother's knowledge. Okay. And one of the twin was given to a foster family to rear and to breed. Okay. And another twin stayed back in the family. The twin child which stayed in the family and was brought up by the family, who had that continuous illness in all generations, got that illness. The guy who was raised in the foster care or another family who adopted the child did not develop the illness. And then they did systematic studies and they found out we have predispositions or genes predisposing us to all illnesses in all of us. But only those illnesses will get expressed in us for which we have conducive external environment. Let's say you are in a family and everybody says, in our family, everybody has allergy. Everybody is always sneezing. ये तो खानदानी है हमारा. The child learns that. You understand? So that is one of the belief systems that gets incorporated into us. So many times it's a learned behavior. I hope this answers your question
Yeah,
somewhat.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It
Of course, there
answers.
are many other factors to it, but this is
Yeah,
one of them.
yeah. Understood.
So then you learn, no, how, see, for example, a girl sees how the father is treating the mother.
Hmm.
Hmm.
A boy sees, how father is treating the mother, how mother is treating the father. They learn the patterns of relationship. And we have seen, let's say a girl will look for a father in her mate in future, and a boy will look for a mother in his mate.
Yeah, yeah,
And many times they will get those qualities in them.
yeah.
Unless they have healed those. It's not compulsory, it's always. But there is self-realization, self-enrichment, self-awareness. Once that comes, then you're neutral.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Then you're neutral.
So there is one thing that I want your help in explaining to our audiences, that Karan and I keep talking about the fact that understand what are the loops in your relationship. What is the behavior that you are repeating over and over? What are the fights that you, or maybe a type of fight, say for example money fights or some kind of intimacy issues, या घर वालों को लेके हमेशा झगड़ा होता है. So we are trying to tell them to identify the patterns and then see what is the issue and where you can go to find the solution. So can you also, because obviously you are you're a doctor, we are just like two people talking from experience. So would you be able to give our audience listeners some understanding on how to identify some patterns in relationships, negative patterns?
Okay, so see again, this usually people identify themselves. Oh, I have a pattern with money. They come with that.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
it's like I cannot tell you where the pain is going to be in the body. They come with the pain.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I'm getting pain here. So I
Hmm.
have pain in my money issues.
Hmm.
I have pain in my relationship issues. I have pain in my intimacy issue. You
Hmm.
know, I have pain in my confidence issues. I
Hmm.
have pain in my success issues. So they will come with that. And then those patterns sometimes they can't see. So
Hmm.
as you start listening to their story,
Hmm.
Hmm.
patterns while relating it, when we give you a questionnaire, while you're filling that questionnaire, when you start doing some digging and investigations in the family, suddenly you realize, oh yeah, this pattern is so common.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I've seen most of the people, they spot their patterns themselves. You don't even have to say anything. We just ask them, okay, you're going through this problem, does anybody in the family have similar problem? That's it.
Hmm.
That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, this is exactly what I
That's
was.
right.
Yeah.
So I think it happened with me also, right? When
Yeah.
I did an FC and I was filling the questionnaire that you gave me, Dr. Yogesh. I personally have never ever seen a pattern in my life which was creating issues between both of us, right? Like in all of my generations, whether it is my maternal side or whether it is my paternal side, most of the families, the kids have taken, the loyalty, what we discussed of separating in the marriage or getting divorced in the marriage, or also, the issues which we discussed about one or the other kid have also faced losses towards wealth. So I can clearly see in my family that there were issues which were loyally taken from the parents by the kids.
Yes, true, true,
Yes, yes,
true.
yes, yes.
True. And see, again, it's not only humans we are talking about. I had a case of a man who has a land, he wants to develop a five-star hotel.
Hmm.
And somehow there's always some problem in that land. It's a prime property in one suburb of Mumbai. And they tried many things, but there are some people, some underworld people who have kind of camped there. You give us money, then only we'll vacate the land. Then there's another builder by the side who's put up a case, false case on them. Okay, you've encroached on our land. We need this much part of the land, otherwise you pay us the compensation. So it's like he says something or the other is there. I'm not able to build five-star hotel. But if I give it on rent for film shootings and this and that, I'm making money. But come on, I also want to make a five-star hotel.
Hmm.
He wants to grow big. So we put the case. See, now we are talking about non-human. And
Hmm.
one of the representatives says, I'm a tree. And that tree says something has happened. And that I'll see to it that nothing comes here. I was uprooted.
Hmm.
But now if you see the development in everywhere, so a lot of trees have to be uprooted, they are replanted somewhere else, whatever.
Hmm.
But the honoring and respect
Hmm.
Hmm.
is what is all needs. And that's how, so maybe it's absurd. It's an observed, the man left with saying, how can a tree block my growth? It's absurd.
Hmm.
But then there is no logic in this work. We're not talking about logic here,
Yeah.
right? And his money, which was stuck up there, surprisingly, he got major portion of the money among the four partners. The land was stuck. He's the only person who's got his money back. And we are talking about very huge amounts. Very huge amounts.
So as
And then see how he gets re-entangled. He's getting an exit from that land. Full 90 crores is getting back. Okay. But he stops at 10 crores. You wait, I will help you also deal with the other three partners. Can you imagine? He's getting re-entangled in that. No, this buyer is very good, I need to help him with the other three guys. He got re-entangled in that. So how there are layers upon layers upon layers.
So basically, we are exploring all the subconscious layers of our relationship, our uh, wealth issues, our family patterns, our ancestors, everything put together through family constellation.
Constellations.
Yes.
Yes.
So I think this is most of the questions that we
Covered.
had for Dr. Yogesh. Most of it got covered.
Yeah.
If you have any words of wisdom, like you give us,
Yes.
if you can just give any words of wisdom for the couples who are listening to us.
Or the audience who is listening to
Yeah.
us. Yeah. Whether married, not married. One thing which you would like to share with them.
Yeah, it's very important that before you get married, let the other person know your authentic self. Just be authentic, be who you are, and understand that you are not Ram, so don't expect Sita. You are not Sita, so don't expect Ram. And if possible, we all have plus and minuses, and see how we can contribute to each other and we can coexist, honoring our differences and enjoying our commonalities.
So,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Dr. Yogesh.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
This was very, very enlightening, and I hope it helps a lot of people who are looking for solutions. And I hope to our audiences, I would like to say that I hope that the magician that we got to you today is able to give you some magic as well.
And the perspective that how you should look at life and how you
Yes.
should start a relationship with the end wisdom that Dr. Yogesh gave it to us. Once again, thank you, Dr. Yogesh, and thank you to all our listeners for listening to us. As we always say, we are there with you in happily whatever after.
Don't
So
forget to.
let me give you a last line. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please see the movie Kung Fu Panda. So the magic is within you.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
That's the bottom line. It's not outside. There's no magician outside. The magic is within you. Maybe
Yeah.
what a facilitator can do is give you a very neutral field to see yourself as you are.
Yeah.
And that's when the pattern ends with you. There's a very nice movie I would suggest. It's there in the theaters right now. It ends with us, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's becoming very popular all across.
So
Yeah.
that's about seeing patterns and how people end patterns. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's not always so painful as shown in that movie.
Yeah.
Pattern ending can also be very happy. So
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving us your time, guys. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to us. If you want to get in touch with Dr. Yogesh, we will give all of his details in the description below, or you can get in touch with us and we will put you through to him.
Yes.
So thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Yogesh, once again.
See you
next
guys
week.
next week. Thank you so much.